Hi, Tony Baratta here. Today I wanted to speak with you about auto insurance. You know, when we're on the roadway, driving our cars, following the rules, we can't predict when somebody else may not be following the rules. I can't tell you how many times I have represented clients who have suffered devastating injuries for which they will not receive adequate compensation for their medical costs in the past and the future, their lost wages, and most significantly, for the tremendous hardships and pain and loss of life's pleasures that they've been caused and their families have been caused as a result of these devastating injuries. And many times, a brain injury is what is the consequence of a serious auto wreck. So I want to talk to you about one part of your auto insurance policy, which is the most significant thing to consider. It is called UIM or UM in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. And that coverage protects you if you and your loved ones, the people who live in your household, if you or one of the members of your household is caused one of those serious injuries due to the carelessness of another. So it's important to have underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. Did you know that in Pennsylvania it's legal to drive if you only have $15,000 in liability coverage? $15,000 in liability coverage is not enough to pay for an ambulance ride to a hospital, an MRI film, and a couple of months of physical therapy. So how could that possibly properly compensate somebody for a devastatingly serious injury? If a person driving a car with only $15,000 in coverage drives drunk and crosses the center line of the road, smashing head on into you, and you suffer a traumatic brain injury, and they only have the drunk person only has $15,000 in coverage, what are you going to do? You need to have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. Underinsured motorist coverage allows you to make a claim against your own insurance company because you protected yourself. You bought this coverage. It's called underinsured motorist because it says if the other driver who causes the injury is underinsured, doesn't have enough insurance to properly compensate you for your harms, then you've protected yourself by having underinsured motorist coverage. Now, you can only have underinsured motorist coverage up to the level of your liability coverage. So you should have as much liability coverage as possible solely, well, you know, it protects you obviously if someone makes a claim against you, but the more important reason to have as much liability coverage as possible is so that you can buy an equal amount of underinsured motorist coverage. So if you have $300,000 in liability coverage, you should get $300,000 in UIM coverage, underinsured motorist. Another important thing to consider is called stacking. This is something that you should have on every of your policies because if you have 3 cars in your household and underinsured motorist coverage of $300,000, you get to, with stacking, by buying stacking, you get to triple. You get to stack that 300 times each car that you have in the household. So if you have 3 cars, then that underinsured motorist coverage becomes $900,000. So look at your declarations pages for your automobile coverage now. Make sure you have underinsured motorist coverage and make sure you've chose stacking. My name is Tony Baratta, and I hope this has been helpful.